India's ride-hailing and taxi segment is projected to reach $12.77 billion in 2023. Ola and Uber each command 35% of the market share. The number of users is expected to grow well above 11 crores by 2027, and the user penetration is expected to be at 7.2% at the end of 2023. However, these numbers are likely to see a drastic shakeup if India's ride-hailing and ride-sharing sector embraces the nascent trend of diversification it is currently witnessing. Companies like InDrive, BlueSmart, Sakha, Rapido, and many more are trying to make inroads into the sector which is currently ruled by Uber and Ola. Consumers too are slowly warming up to them.
So, what is happening is the amount of experimentation that is going out in the market is quite substantial. And it is not just ride sharing. There are at least 7, 8 different business models that are currently being tried and tested in the marketplace. We will see some winners come out of this experimentation. The more people will experiment, the more agile these companies will be. They'll be able to push for a greater share of market.
For instance, InDrive, a California-headquartered ride-hailing platform, lets passengers and drivers negotiate the fare of a ride. If a passenger receives multiple offers at the same price, the person can make his or her choice based on the driver's estimated time of arrival, the price, the vehicle model, and the driver's rating. The app was first launched in Kolkata in April 2022. Since then, it has spread across major metropolitan cities. Then there is Sakha Cabs, which allows only women or men with families to hail a ride with them. Run by women drivers who are trained by the company in driving as well as self-defense, the cabs with Sakha also come equipped with panic buttons. The cabs have been in service since 2020 and operate in Delhi, Kolkata, Indore, and Jaipur. There is also BlueSmart, a fully electric ride-hailing and EV charging platform currently operating in the Delhi NCR and Bengaluru region. Not only have they introduced a zero denial and zero surge policy, but they have also installed more than 1,700 EV charging stations in these areas since 2019. They lease electric cars from global leasing institutions, cutting down any stress of asset ownership for their drivers. But even as these new entrants create their own niches in the taxi market, what are the major challenges that they are likely to face, and what should their road ahead look like?
Challenges also provide you opportunities, right? Because a lot of these companies will be agile enough to say that, okay, fine, we're going down a path and we're going down car sharing, but does it make sense to get bike sharing involved in it? Does it make sense to reverse back and go with ride sharing where drivers are doing most of the rides? So, these companies will, from my perspective, agility in a lot of these newer age ecosystem players will be very important for them to be successful in the marketplace.
Himanshu Raghuvanshi, co-founder and CPO of CabGrid, a B2B sourcing and mobility company, believes that besides creating a niche, the new entrants must break out of the template set by the big two.
In the ride-hailing segment as well, you look at Ola and Uber command majority of the market segment. Now, any new entrant would have to find a niche. BlueSmart found a niche in terms of convenience, right? Or Sakha is trying to find a separate niche. So the market is still big, but they'll have to find a niche. The only challenge that the biggest challenge that they are up against is in terms of, there's a set template out there that Ola and Uber have set, right? For success, for growth, for expansion. Now, in order to break that, they'll have to take a different course because Olas and Ubers of the world have deep pockets. So they cannot play on price. The other factors that they can play on is maybe convenience that BlueSmart is playing on. The other thing also is the challenge of how do we break out of that template? Like BlueSmart owns its own assets. Ola and Uber do not, right? So they're trying to find a niche, but the question of how quickly can they expand being such asset heavy is again a very big question, right?
With the new diversified offerings, the big two will also face a challenge to upscale and diversify the supply end of their businesses.
But the Olas and Ubers of the world are and would face the most important question, that is supply, right? The Olas and Ubers or the Lyfts of the world are big enough. I think they can also innovate on the type of vehicles to push that convenience quotient up, right? They can work directly with automotive manufacturers, even new age manufacturers who come up, for coming up with their own type of vehicles, maybe, or internal systems, maybe, right? So that the convenience factor, the convenience quotient goes up, right? In terms of pricing, I haven't seen Ola and Uber even speak about EV adoption, right? So in terms of pricing and in terms of convenience, there's a lot of innovation that can happen, right? The major innovation will happen in terms of supply, right? The type of supply and the way it is the supply runs, right?
And just like the new entrants, the big two too must be agile in their growth strategies.
If they're agile enough to build new platforms, if they're agile enough to build new products within the platforms that they have to cater to a newer segment, I think that's. I mean, let's not forget that they've become very big now, but a few years back they were not as big, right? So they probably already know how to get to scale, how to get to size, how to get to new products. So that is the inherent benefit that companies like these will have. Some of them are very well funded as well, so they can experiment a lot more than some of the other companies. So that's the benefit they have, and they have the potential to catch on it.
With the desire for last mile coverage, an eye on safety and environmental concerns, consumer demands have opened the floodgates on diversified ride-hailing services. But even as the new offerings find their own niche, the sector as a whole will grow only when both the established as well as the newer players are agile enough to incorporate and adapt to these diversified demands.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.